Hello, hello, hello. It's Wednesday. And yes, it was a different song this week, and I had to get used to it myself. I don't know about that. I don't know. I don't know. We'll talk about that after the show. But welcome back, everybody. I am so excited because, again, we've been diving into specific topics, and I love that today we're going to talk about 2026. I'm Stephanie Gillis and co-founder of Air Domo, and I am here with Hannah Maverick. She is sick, but she still showed up because she is a true team player. Hannah, how are you? Are you feeling better?
I'm a little bit under the weather, so my voice may be like a 13-year-old boy, but please bear with me. And thank you, Stephanie, for asking. I am really excited about this topic. I didn't want to miss it because it really gives buyers a real advantage. And by the time everyone starts talking about a new hotspot, the early stage pricing is gone. So
Yeah.
today we're going to break down the markets that are still undervalued and still early in their growth curve and still accessible. So they're already attracting serious attention globally.
Yeah.
So let's dive in. Before we get into the actual destinations, let's start with the foundation. Stephanie, how do you identify a market that's truly about to boom?
Well, here's the thing. Hotspots do not appear overnight, okay? They just don't. You can't they people think they do and they don't. You've got to look at the patterns, right? You got to see the rising in tourism because that's going to tell you a whole lot. You've got to see what government is investing in their country, their infrastructure, improving ownership structures, right? They're creating ways for outsiders to come in and invest in their community, invest in their country, invest in their island. And then you also see developer momentum with new projects going on, new resorts getting developed, new villas being built, new resort communities on the rise. That's what you have to look for. And these things don't happen overnight, but they start to happen. And then you start to see the airlines announce direct flight from, and you're like, oh, wait a minute, let's check this out. And so that's what you pay attention to. And then that ramp up period is where you start to see those signs and you start to really look at those destinations, and then that's when you start to uncover what those global markets are going to be.
That totally makes sense. So basically, when we talk about all of these, the buyers who move before the mainstream media always benefit the most.
Yeah.
And obviously, the countries or the destinations that we're going to talk about today, most of you have heard of them. But we want to talk about all the reasons why they are the next hotspots. So let's jump into the first one, which is also, I'm not biased, but it's my favorite. Montenegro. What makes this such a strong pick for 2026?
Well, Montenegro has been quietly but consistently rising for years. And a lot of people are like, wait, what did they say? I've never heard of Montenegro. And that's because it is still quietly rising. Okay. 2026 is where we're going to see massive, serious acceleration. Okay. You're going to really start to hear about this. The coastal corridor, Tavat, Corbe, Budva, and Porto Montenegro. It's becoming one of Europe's hottest luxury lifestyle markets. Okay. So it's Europe, it's attracting people from all over, but it's Europe's hottest luxury lifestyle market. And for a few reasons. The EU candidate status, it's huge. Every country that has moved toward EU membership has seen long term appreciation. So your buy and hold is going to be tremendous, right? There's no
Mhm.
currency chaos either. So this also attracts serious buyers. Your euro-based economy. So people seem to understand that when, they're not dealing with a currency that they're not used to, or they don't hear about often, right? Tourism in Montenegro has been exploding and it's continuing to post record numbers with strong demand from Europe, but also the Middle East. It's where the Middle East seem to want to go and vacation as well. Luxury infrastructure, you've got marinas being developed, you've got resorts, you've got high end residents. This is where the wealthy buyers are quietly moving in. Okay. Value gap versus Croatia. You get the coastlines, you get the historic towns, but it's a fraction of the Croatia cost. Remember, when we covered Croatia, and one of your favorite places, Hannah, if I'm not mistaken, it's gorgeous and it's beautiful, but the cost has gotten up there because of its popularity, because we know about it. Montenegro offers that same sort of history and those same coastlines, but it hasn't quite gotten to that price increase just yet. So it's still early compared to where it's heading. So when you say, I want to get in early, this is that phase we're talking about with Montenegro.
Yes, it definitely is. And it's only a couple of hours drive from Croatia, and you can see that whole coastline while you're there. It's truly a magical place. And it's definitely one of those markets where lifestyle and investment really do align perfectly. But yeah, so let's move on to the next destination. Mauritius, and I have a huge, huge desire to go to Mauritius. I'm very excited. It's such a beautiful place on all the photos that I've seen. Tell me, Stephanie, why is this such a strong 2026 pick?
It's one of the most stable economies and stable governments that you're going to find as it relates to, an island. It's an island market and it's one of the safest in the world. And right now the demand is at an all-time high. Here's what's going to make it or here's what is making it special. You're going to be granted residency after you invest 375,000 US dollars. So if you buy in an eligible development, you and your family are going to get permanent residency. And that is huge for people that are looking to be able to spend as much time as they want over and beyond wherever they're from and wherever their normal residency is. And so here, with all the luxury developments that are being developed, the resort style branded residences that you've heard us talk about being developed, you will be eligible for that permanent residency. There's also freehold ownership, and that's rare for island nations as well, for people to receive freehold ownership when they're foreigners. It's limited land with high demand. The island is committed to low density, sustainable development. So that keeps supply low. So when the supply stays low and will always remain low, obviously you're going to have a great acceleration as far as appreciation goes. But right now, there is that draw. There's a huge draw for relocators from Europe, South Africa, the UAE, and also Asia. So there's a strong rental demand too, especially on the West Coast hubs. There, people are wanting to go there to vacation because of that stable political economic environment. So Maritas is a wealth preservation market with exceptional quality of life, and the appreciation potential is going to be off the charts.
Absolutely. This just works for everyone, for lifestyle buyers, relocators, and investors. And I do have to say there are some really beautiful properties in Mauritius on airdemo.com. So I do urge everyone to go and take a look because they are truly gorgeous. And moving into our hotspot number three, and we've talked about this destination before, it's Panama. Panama seems to be coming back onto the radar. What's happening there?
So Panama is having a very, very important moment right now, but not in the way that you would think. The real hotspot for 2026 is not just Panama City. It's Panama Pacifico, which is developing residential tech zones with massive infrastructure investment. So a lot of infrastructure is going into that area. Playa Vina is a booming surf luxury hybrid town. A lot of these areas weren't even accessible, but the infrastructure now has been built to get there. So Padasi is an eco-coastal living with rising foreign demand. So the reason why Panama has gotten hot again, because it kind of cooled off the last few years, it's because it has huge stability now. It is exceptionally easy for foreigners to get visas. They are open for business they are here with their arms wide open saying, please come, please come. We want to grant you residency. We want you to come here and spend your money. Tourism growth and new flights. Again, I tell you, pay attention to what the airlines are saying because Panama is positioning itself as the Central American hub. You start to see a lot of the airlines saying, we've got direct flights here, we've got direct flights there, but Panama is something that, they keep mentioning. the rental yields alone, you start to see a lot of people vacationing there and a lot more people wanting to stay a longer period of time, especially when you see the heavy tech zones and the infrastructure that's being built. That's not just bringing vacationers, it's bringing people with jobs, right? And they're not going to be there maybe long term, so those are in fact renters as well too. So massive government backed development projects, which is huge, because when the government gets behind development, that tells you that they are looking to transform the entire region. And that's what Panama is doing right now. So for the buyers who want stability, upside, rental demand, Panama is one of the smartest entries into Central America. So Hannah, I mean, this is something that people need to, maybe they turned their head and started looking in another direction. Well, now they can turn it back and start looking at Panama again.
Exactly. And the fact that there are government-backed development projects also means that they will make it easy for people to come and invest, which is very, very important. It's one of the few markets where lifestyle and long-term fundamentals really match perfectly. But moving into our hotspot number four, which everyone is very familiar with, and so are you, Stephanie, is Dominican Republic. This one is rising fast. What's driving it?
Dominican Republic is the strongest all around Caribbean market right now. I mean, that's the truth. It's the strongest all around Caribbean market right now. Punta Cana, Las Terrenas, Cap Cana, Cabaret, all of these places are booming. The tourism is outperforming almost every Caribbean destination. They are adding airports like it's going out of style. So obviously that's opening up new flight routes and major hospitality investments. You start to look at the list of resorts that are investing in Dominican Republic and why 2026 for the DR is even going to get hotter. It's because we're going to have more resorts there opening up. And so then you start to look at the development and the new infrastructure that's going in to match these developments. The beautiful architecture, you're starting to see so much more happening there from the scale of they're really diversifying themselves. So foreigners can buy easy, whereas before it was a little bit difficult. Now we can buy easy there. There's a strong Airbnb demand, especially in the Punta Cana and the Las Terrenas market. And then the diversity of markets. There's luxury, there's surfing, there's eco, there's lifestyle, there's that investment corridor. And again, we talk about the infrastructure boom. It is not slowing down, it's accelerating. The government is investing in it, and that means a lot. So when you look at the value gap in the Dominican Republic versus places like Turks and Caicos, Bahamas, and Aruba, you get Caribbean lifestyle at 40 to 60% of the price of those neighboring islands.
Yes, it's definitely one of the Caribbean's most dynamic investment environments, which is always amazing to see. And our last hotspot that we're going to talk about, one that I'm also excited about, is Colombia. This one is really gaining serious momentum. What do you think?
Well, Colombia is one of Latin America's fastest growing lifestyle and tourism markets. Those key hotspots are Cartagena, Santa Marta, and Medellin. These places, Cartagena is Heritage Caribbean, and it's got the hotel boom that's going on. Santa Marta is the rising coastal demand, and Medellin is the long-term rentals and remote worker hub. So remember what we talked about. People are going to Colombia as a remote worker because their money goes a long way in Colombia. That's one of the big attractions, but they also get that Caribbean beach feel. They want to put their feet in the sand as they work on the laptops, right? I mean, Hannah, you and I both would love
That's
to do
me.
that every single day.
I
You're
mean,
not.
listen, that's me.
We need to go to Colombia. But tourism is at record levels. And that's because not only are Americans going to Colombia, but you've got the Europeans that are traveling and they're staying longer. They're not just going for a week, they're staying for months at a time. Right. And so those short term rentals are performing extremely well. They're also becoming that remote worker capital of the world. It's because of the year-round climate being, amazing. They've got a modern city, and then they have a high demand for furnished rentals. So if you're buying and investing in global real estate there, then furnish it and you're going to keep it rented, whether it's a long-term renter or a short-term renter. There is a high demand for that. And then also, again, you're going to see major infrastructure projects happening right now with the ports, airports, coastal developments. And again, there's a pricing advantage. Colombia offers beachfront and city luxury at a fraction of what Mexico and Costa Rica and other Caribbean islands cost. So for what buyers who want a lifestyle investment culture, Colombia is unmatched.
Exactly. And it's a market where you just have to pick the right neighborhood. The demand is already there. So definitely. To close out, let's talk about how to explore these markets safely because that's what we always want for our clients. What's the smartest first step for someone who wants to explore these hotspots?
Well, you got to clarify with yourself. Why are you buying? Are you buying for lifestyle, appreciation, yield, or is it residency? And then from there, you've got to look at each of them. Narrow down the markets that match what your goal is. Look at the legal framework, study the rental data, review supply pipelines, work with vetted partners. Airdomo here. That's why we built Airdomo, is to work with you, to help you, to protect you. And ideally, you want to see the area in person and through an advisor you trust, like Airdomo. That's where we come in. We shortcut all the noise. And so, again, this is something that you don't want to buy with emotion necessarily. You do need to do your due diligence as well. And there's a lot of opportunity here. And so there's something for everybody. We talked about this, I think it was last week, where you don't have to be a super uber wealthy person to be able to buy an island home. And we've proven that today.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, Stephanie, and thank you to everyone who watched. If you do want help deciding whether it's Montenegro, Mauritius, Panama, the DR, or Colombia is the right fit for you, you can always book a call with us. You can explore our vetted global properties on airdomo.com, or you can reach out to us for one-on-one guidance. We're always there to help, and we'll see you in the next session.
Thanks, everyone. See you next Wednesday.